Oh, hello. Welcome to the show. Alright, so I'm going to start today doing a series on all of the champions and some of the best ways to use them. So you got Bruenor, he's got some abilities. Who are the best champions to use with those abilities? Jax has a thing. Master Disguise. Here you go. Increases the damage of Jax by 100% for each good or neutral champion. So who's good and neutral? Who's the best to use for that? This guy, he's got a thing that Childlike Wonder increases the effect of his ability for each adjacent sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. Okay, so who fits into that category? Who's the best to use for him specifically? Not a whole party, but just him. And the formations change based on, where you're at, one of the four primary campaigns, or somewhere in an event or time gate. But this will just give you something, kind of a quick thing to look at. Like, so Bruenor, he's good with all the dwarves. Okay, I like Bruenor, I want to use him more. So let's unlock some of the dwarves through time gates. You know who you're looking for, right? What slots you need, because you've got dwarves in slot, I think, 1, 3, 5, and 10. Anyways, that's whatever. So just a champion guide on a specific individual, his abilities, and how to best utilize those. So this being the first video, we will look at Bruenor, our buddy, this guy. One of the reasons why I got this game. One of the first Forgotten Realms books I read. I don't remember the name of the book, but it was the Icewind Dale trilogy. Those tree books. The first ones. Anyways, they were the first ones written with Drizzt in them, I'm fairly certain, or as a primary character. And they're the first ones I read, and they got me hooked immediately. So when I saw Bruenor was in this game, I was real jazzed about it. And I've been playing it for a little over 2 years now. Holy cow, look at that. Anyway, so Bruenor, take a look at his bio. Hailing from the spine of the world, Bruenor is the leader of Clan Battlehammer. He is close friends with the celebrated drow, Drizzt Do'Urden, and the halfling Regis. Rounding out the companions of the hall are his two adopted human children, Catti and Wolfgar. Alright, fair play. So we'll look at his stats a little bit. He's a shield dwarf. The shield is mostly irrelevant. We're looking at primarily dwarf is what will come into play. He's a dwarven fighter, mostly sits in a support role, and he's affiliated with the rest of the companions of the hall. Alignment, neutral good, age 252. So he's an old guy. The law is mostly irrelevant to him being neutral, but he is good, so he does act justly for the betterment of, I would say, hopefully all. His attack hits an individual closest enemy. His ultimate, when we get there, same thing, just more damage. Typical to a dwarf, he's high strength, high constitution, high wisdom, reasonable charisma. That could go either way, depending on the character. But he's a pretty swell fella. Okay, so let's look at... He won't go in there anywhere. Just look at some of his abilities, right? So his first one, you get level 5, costs just a couple of golds. Increase the damage of Bruenor by 100% for each champion around him. So to make best use of that, you're going to want to put him in a space like where Shandy is at. Come on back, my dear. Stick him right in the middle, get as much people around him as possible. Excellent. Upgrade to his bash, there's that. Delivers the devastating blow to the closest enemy. So with both of his attacks, melee, individual, closest to the party. Then at level 50 you get Rally, just a little over 1,000 gold. Increase the damage of champions in the same column. Now that value is going to change a little bit depending on how many levels you've got into Bruenor and some of your equipment. You've got the Dark Iron Ring, increases his Rally ability. And so that, depending on how much you have of here, I've got blue for 169. Purple, I think, will give you 3 something. You throw that down range. And then pow, then you come into your specialization form. So depending on the party you've got, if he's close to the front, Shield Master does work better for you. 10 stacks of increase the damage of rally by 10% for 10 seconds whenever a champion within 2 slots is attacked. Stacks 25 times. So Shield Master, if he's in the front, or if he's near the front, can stack you up to 250% bonus damage. Battle Master, if you pick that one, it's static, always applies. Only do 100% though. So depending on where you're at, that'll definitely make the difference of what you pick. For this formation, I would go with Battle Master because the blessings give you extra damage to the back row and the top slot. So Jax has the highest damage, so he needs to stay there. So Bruenor would sit back here. Obviously, Shield Master won't work. He's 3 spaces from the front. Couple more, just a bunch. There you go, there's the next one. Come down. Level 475, you get Dwarven Glory. And this is why I want to make these guides. Because the rest of it's kind of easy, right? Okay, he buffs the whole row, great. So whoever's in the row, very flexible formation-wise. This is where you start getting particular, though. So 475, you get Dwarven Glory. Increase the effective rally by X amount, because his third item, the belt here, increases the effect of Dwarven Glory. I currently have a 346% increase. So I don't know what the original value will be. But increase the effective rally by X amount for each dwarf other than Bruenor in the formation. So that's where you're going to start getting particular. So there we will take a quick look at where the other dwarves are. We'll look at in slot number 3. Core champion would be... Actually, let's set all these to the core champions. It'll make it, I think, a little bit easier to tell what we're looking at. Go to Ashara here. Sorry, I should have done this earlier. Had not realized. Don't really know what I'm doing. Makers. Tyrell, Jamila, and Archon. Perfect. Close. There's lots of stuff happening back there. Okay, back to Bruenor. So Dwarven Glory. Who's dwarves? To replace Naeli, you could pick Binwin. He's a primary damager. A lawful good mountain dwarf fighter barbarian. Again, high strength, high constitution, reasonable charisma. And then in slot number 5, you have Pwent. Thibbledorf Pwent. Dwarven barbarian. Runs a support role. Again, high strength, high constitution. He has terrible charisma, however, because he smells like garbage. Touch on that in a later video. And then in slot number 10, to replace Tyrell, you get Barrowin. Mainly healing and support. Has abilities, specialization picks either extra damage or extra healing. Here it is there. Touch on that in a later video. But there you go. So for Dwarven Glory, you can get a maximum so far of 1, 2, 3 extra dwarves. Right? I think yeah, 3 extra dwarves. Okay, so that covers that. Sorry, this is the first one I'm going to talk out loud just a little bit as I figure out what the heck it is that I'm doing. Okay, so then after his Dwarven Glory, I think you just cruise right up to level 1000, which costs 1, brings you up to your 27th exponent, and then you get Long Lost Companions. And so this one increases the bounty of the hall, which is just your gold find, by 100%. And increases the effect of rally by 100% for each other companion of the hall in the formation. So this is where you're going to want to look at having Regis, Catti-brie, Drist, and Wulfgar in your formation. Now it does take a bit of a cost, a bit of a gold multiplier to get up here. So if you're early in the game, unlocking the dwarves is the better option to go for. Also, Drist is a bit of a struggle because you have to unlock him through the first primary campaign. Again, touch on that in a different video. So let's look at where the other companions are. You get Regis in slot number 2. I usually use him as a gold finder with Jax, but that is mostly irrelevant for what we're doing here. Then in the same slot as Minsk, I believe number 7? Or is that 6? No, that's 7. You get Catti-brie. In slot number 10 to replace Bruenor, which is unfortunate because then you can't ever have all the dwarves and all of the companions in the same formation, because Wulfgar and Bruenor are both in slot 10. So you have to pick one or the other. Oh, we skipped over Drist. Foolish. So in slot number 9 to replace Makos, you get Drist. And then your 5 companions of the hall, each one of them has abilities that work with the other companions, so they are a wonderful formation to have. It's just a bit of a grind to get Drist. Most of the other champions you'll just get from doing events and time gates, so you can run through them reasonably quickly. Especially if you throw money at the game for time gate pieces, because I think you're always guaranteed to get at least one champion that you don't have in a time gate, unless you have everybody, of course. But that's me getting carried away. So back to Bruenor. Once you get him to level 1,000, I'm fairly certain. Run through that, yeah. His last actual ability comes at level 1,000. So once you get there, the rest is just upgrading what he's already got. But there you go. Current bounty of the hall. It's 100% for every companion that's in there. So currently, 500% extra gold fund from having the 5 of them. You couple that in here with Jax, who is giving you piracy. Wait, what? Master of Piracy. Total current gold multiplier 6.2 thousand%. Anyway, so Bruenor, there you go, works best with dwarves and the companions. So you're going to be looking at slots 2, 3, 5, 9, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 10. To unlock the other 7, there's going to be 4 companions and 3 extra dwarves. Bye-bye. Okay, so now Bruenor might come up in other videos depending on other abilities, so we might look at... I mean, I don't think anybody works for age, but I think based on strength and constitution, he will be applicable to a few other champions. But that will come up, of course, in those champions videos. So yeah, there you go. I think that covers Bruenor and his abilities. In terms of using him, I mean, it depends on where you get the best buffs from people, but typically he's going to be nice to have in a row with a high number of champions. That way you can have as many people doing damage as possible, especially like the video I just posted for unlocking Wulfgar. The boss there is, I think, two armor and hit point based health enemies, which take a long time to carve through. So the more people you have doing enough damage to take chunks off, the faster you'll go through, the better chance you have. Whereas if you only have one damage dealer, like for my gold find party, it's typically just Jarlaxle doing damage. Not gonna work. Not gonna work at all. Okay, I'm just going to keep rambling. So that's it. There's Bruenor. Use dwarves and the companions. Everything else is just kind of based on whatever you have in the formation. Oh, and one more point to make actually about Point. He does have an ability. Let's go to upgrades here. We'll get into it better. Oh, is it not? Have I not got it yet? Oh, I need to purchase this. Here we go. Is that it? Yes, there you go. Okay. Point, because he is friends with Bruenor, increase the effect of his Countermoff ability by 100% and adds 100% to the companion's gold find as long as he's adjacent to a member of the companions. So if you're using Bruenor and the rest of the companions instead of dwarves, Point is still a very, very good option for your party because he does fit as the dwarf to increase a dwarven glory, and he fits as a companion, so he technically triggers a bonus for dwarven glory 2 times. And bonus to gold find as well, so that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's that for that one. If you did find that helpful, leave a like. If you do have suggestions as how to make these videos more helpful, feel free to leave a comment down there as well. If you have a specific champion you want me to cover or you have questions about, I do have everybody unlocked, so I can do guides on anybody at any time. But I am going to just go through all of the core champions, then I'll do the evergreen champions, still have to unlock Azaka, so that one might take a bit, and then I'll just run through year 1 events, year 2 events, or if you guys would prefer, I can do champions by event, because that's how you will technically unlock them if you don't do any time gates. The only reason I want to do it year by year is because then I can go sort of slot by slot instead of being all willy-nilly all over the place. But of course, as these videos are mostly for you, if you have anything specific you want me to touch on, by all means, just let me know, and we'll prioritize. Anyways, that's it for this one. We'll see you next time. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know.